Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am your girl, Molinda Jae here, and I'm here to talk about what has happened within the last, I'll say, 48 hours between the Grammys and Offset and Quavo getting into it backstage, as well as the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast had released an episode with Jay Prince Sr. and Jay Prince Jr. and as well as Mike Prince. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the article. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. First, we're going to start with this. This is coming from TMZ, of course, but it has been reported that an altercation was happening backstage. A quick altercation. After Quavo blocks, fight backstage at the Grammys. After Quavo blocks him, meaning Offset, from Takeoff's tribute. All right. And also, I'm going to drop some gems. That way we can learn something from this. All right. We can all learn something from whatever that I'm presenting to you all. Okay. And here you see Quavo here on the left, and on the right, you see Offset, just in case you are not aware of who they are. And it reads, there's clearly still serious bad beef between Migos rappers Quavo and Offset following the passing of Takeoff, and those emotions boiled over backstage at the Grammys into a physical altercation. Sources at the show tells TMZ just before Quavo took the stage to perform his song Without You as a tribute to Takeoff. During the memoriam segment of the show, he and Offset got into a physical altercation and had to be pulled apart. As for what led to it, we're told the Grammys had asked Offset to be a part of the tribute, but Quavo refused to let him take part. We're told Quavo blocked Offset from joining him on stage, leading to the melee. Okay. Our Offset sources says that Quavo who started the fight. We should note Quavo and Takeoff were extremely close at the time of Takeoff's passing. Offset was still hanging out with Takeoff separately, but the trio hasn't hung out as a full unit. Quavo's Without You was a song he specifically wrote for Takeoff. Nonetheless, people watching Sunday's night show were disappointed to see it was clear that there have not been a reconciliation between Quavo and Offset since the passing of Takeoff. Okay. All right. And then before I proceed on of what we can learn from this situation, it's also been reported that Miss Cardi B had gotten to the middle of it to mediate it, to regulate them, to bring them back to reality, per se. So this is coming from the Yahoo News. Cardi B shown on video attempting to defuse Quavo and Offset's Grammy night altercation, despite Offset denying the report. Because when the report was made, Offset did make a tweet saying that, y'all basically saying y'all out of pocket and nothing happened backstage. We don't know what y'all talking about, and y'all can proceed on do your with your day-to-day activities, okay? But that's when TMZ was like, no, we got the receipts, drop them. So It reads within this article, though Offset denied reports of the altercation, footage has been released showing Cardi B attempting to defuse the situation between him and Quavo backstage. The new video footage obtained by the Entertainment Tonight, Cardi B shouts out at her husband and his cousin, former bandmate, both of y'all's wrong. This is not right. The post Cardi B showed on video attempting to defuse Quavo and Offset's Grammy night altercation, despite Offset denying the report of the altercation, appeared first on Blacktivity. The Up rapper says, "No, B, shut the up, because you shouldn't have been talking," but it's unclear who specified who she was talking about, all right, or who she was addressing to. Later on that night, Cardi B was asked by E.T., an Entertainment Tonight correspondent, if the situation backstage had been settled, to which she replied, "Settling? The only thing I settled was my outfit, honey," and kept on walking. The footage backstage at the Grammys with Cardi B argued, "Both of y'all's wrong. This is not right." This is what sparked the disagreement with Offset and Quavo. Okay. Let's see. There's a clear video of the backstage with Cardi B and Offset and Quavo. TMZ was the first to report that Offset and Quavo got into a physical altercation backstage at this year's Grammy ceremony before the later paid tribute to their fallen bandmate and relative Takeoff with his song "Without You" during the memoriam segment. Insiders share that the altercation result from Quavo allegedly blocking Offset from participating in the performance. Although several sources have since confirmed that that the altercation did break out, Offset has denied this report on Twitter, like I said before. Okay, and then the tweet that Offset did put out yesterday had said, "What the F look," I think it was supposed to say "what the F I look like," but it says "what the look like fighting my brother." Y'all, because it's crazy. Okay, y'all ninjas is crazy. So that concludes that portion. Now let me see. After the award show happened, then this interview had dropped with on the $1 million worth of game podcast with Gilly the Kid and Wallow Face. Backlash for Jay Prince interview on the podcast, and this is coming from XXL magazine, and it reads, "The podcast duo is facing backlash for their interview with Jay Prince Jr. and Mike Prince. On Sunday, February 5th, the $1 million worth of podcast game episode debuted with the host Gilly and Wallow giving the Prince family a chance to address rumors around them and Takeoff's passing. However, many people on social media are blasting the podcasters for the new show, which featured Prince Sr. sending a veiled threat to Offset at the close of the sit-down. Gilly and Wallow, some H words. Wallow was in tears during Dirk's interview about Stop the Violence. Real tears, and I felt that, but ain't have ish to say to Jay Prince old a threatening to harm more Black people. The industry crazy, one Twitter user wrote. So this is coming from Foxiana's Twitter account, and further on down the article, it reads, "This is why young bulls don't respect old heads now." Okay. Too much picking and choosing. Wallow and Gilly had all that to say about the YSL situation, but sat there quiet as HE double hockey sticks and let that Prince guy get off set. This is coming from Charlie at his underscore smoking pow account. And then another Twitter user saying Wallow deserves some heat because as much as they're vocal to the younger ninjas about them disagreeing with their lifestyles, Thug, Dirk, etc., they stay silent while Jay Prince sat there and threatened a fellow rapper. Someone else posted. Jay Prince made headlines for his interview on $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, mainly due to him calling out Offset. And then it reads the following. This Offset dude, I ain't gonna leave him out, Jay Prince said at the 57-59 mark of the interview. I'm just real like this. Ninjas be throwing rocks and hiding their hands, right? I don't like them kind of individuals. The truth of the matter is one can dance and do different things in front of different cameras and all kinds of ish. The truth of the matter is, Ninja, you wasn't really right there with Takeoff when he was alive. He continued, for you to be taking these positions that you're taking, I got people everywhere, so I hear all things. I'm going to just say this to you. Don't ever put me in no position where I have to defend myself. That wouldn't be healthy for you. The following statement, Gilly just started with a strange look on his face before ending the episode. Shaking my head. Offset appeared to respond, being name-checked by Prince in an Instagram store video a short time later. First of all, y'all ninjas speaking on my real brother, Offset started. I don't know what the F y'all ninjas got going on. Y'all ninjas speaking on my real brother. How dare you ninjas even speak on me and take our relationship, ninja? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry I'm very animated on this, but I promise you, there is going to be a silver lining through all this, okay? I don't know you ninjas from a can of paint, ninja. Y'all ninja don't know how me and my brother rock, ninja. You trying to clear your face? This your 5th interview, ninja. Done did about my brother, ninja. You ain't thinking about his mama. You ain't thinking about the family, ninja. We ain't said nothing. Nobody ain't said nothing but you, ninjas. End quote. Goodness grief. Okay. He added, who y'all ninjas think y'all is? John Gotti? Ain't nobody going for none of that. Ain't nobody stunting none of that ish y'all niggas talking about either. If you heard something from me, I'ma tell you. It's gonna come from me. Call my phone. Y'all ninjas going off some he said ish. Then y'all ninjas supposed to be this and who y'all supposed to be. And y'all ninjas on interviews airing it out on interview talking about I said this. Call my phone, homies. You call my phone, we'll have a conversation. End quote. Jay Prince has been trying to clear his family's name during the backlash after the rumor spread that a member of the Prince camp was responsible for the passing of Takeoff, who passed outside of a private party for Jay Prince Jr. outside of 810 Billards and Bowling in Houston on November 1st, 2022. The Rap-A-Lot CEO has conducted multiple interviews bringing down the claims or squashing the claims, all right? 2 men were arrested in connection with the murder. 2 men were arrested in the connection of the red rum last December, okay? It is really hard reading these articles in code, okay? To stay within these guidelines, y'all. I'm not even gonna hold you. To see more reactions to Jay Prince $1 Million Game interview, one reads $1 Million worth of lames. That's what Gilly and Wallow are. I really can't stand Gilly and Wallow for that Jay Prince interview. Very distasteful and troublemaking. Gilly and Wallow shouldn't have released that interview. Gilly and Wallow, the worst type of old heads. They told Whack 100 to keep Ninja's name out his mouth, but didn't tell Jay Prince that. No Lie was told Wallow and Gilly, allowing Jay Prince to come on their platform and call people snitches is bottom tier cooning. Nobody cares about who snitched when somebody innocent passed away on your watch. An innocent woman was pow in the head. Luckily, she lived. I'm not sure this is a good look for Gilly and Wallow. Podcast meant to be a safe place. You can't have a man threatening Offset's life on your podcast. Should have stopped things right there. Expect better from Wallow at least. Still confused AF as why Gilly and Wallow even did that interview. Who the F wanted to hear anything the Prince family had to say? William Wallow, Jay Prince to threaten Offset unchecked is not something I thought I'll see in 2023. Learn something new every day, and the list goes on and on and on. Okay. Well, the quotes just go on and on and on. All right. So that's all right. So now that we have read all these articles to get a good picture of all these energies that are happening. All right. So here's the silver lining on all these things. Okay. First, we're going to start with the altercation between Offset and Quavo. So what could we learn about their situation is that one is everybody in their family goes through this on a day-to-day basis, and it really heightens a little bit more whenever a passing of a family member happens, especially when it happens unexpectedly, but still whenever you still anticipate a passing of a relative. Secrets come out, whether they're good or bad, after a passing. And I said this on the Lisa Presley video as well. But yes, everybody processes grief differently. And yes, there are different types of grieving. And yes, there are different stages of grieving. So it seems like to me, from what has been presented to us, is that they have hit the anger stage of grief. And yes, you can go back and forth of the stages of grief as well. You can go from shock back to anger. You can go from bargaining to anger. You can be bargaining but coming to accepting that the fact that they're all that they're gone. So like I said, everybody, whether they're rich or poor, goes through the same similar situation of egos and pride comes to the gets in front of the bigger picture of what's happening because of the circumstances that happen within that person pass away, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. Also with the tribute that was happening with the memoriam, I get it. You know, the song that Quavo did for Takeoff, and he did it, and he wrote it specifically for him, and had it in the works probably ever since the passing to perform at this memoriam of Takeoff. I mean, I get it. You want to do it alone. You want to be able to channel in that energy alone. But again, y'all were the three Migos, okay? There was three people in the group. And for the, I guess, the producers to ask Offset, hey, you mind joining in so we can, because that's also like a PR thing as well. Even though, well, we don't know what happened behind the scenes as far as like the lineup, the comings of him performing of the memoriam for Takeoff. The plan could have originally been just Quavo doing the tribute for Takeoff, because he had already had the song in plan and was preparing to do that. On the flip side, it could have also been the original plan of Quavo and Offset coming on stage and doing the tribute for Takeoff, because, like I said, there were 3 Migos in the beginning. There wasn't no 2 Migos, and there wasn't no 1 Migo. It was the 3 Migos, but Migos to be exact. It was 3 of them in the bunch, all right? And so for that to happen backstage, with Offset and Quavo getting to that squabble altercation, I mean, it seemed there was definitely ego and pride in that, and probably some guilt up in that mixture as well, because I'm pretty sure one was blaming the other, and I'm pretty sure one was like, why you ain't call me when it happened, or the rest goes on, and you should have did this, and you should have that, should have, could have, would have. But at the end of the day, the tribute, the bigger picture was, y'all are making a tribute. Y'all doing a memoriam for Takeoff. It would have been nice that y'all did come together, whether y'all were in a disagreement or not, and do the performance. Like Quavo, he could have performed his little song up there, and then eventually Offset could have came up and they could have did, Raindrops, Drop Top, they could have did one of the 3 Migos song, and then had Takeoff's vocals going on in the background. I mean, there could have been so many things happening that would have made the performance the good tribute that everybody was probably hoping and wishing for it to happen. But right now, it's just not that it's not a good time. So yeah, it was not a good time. And of course, we got to respect that, whether we like them or not, per se. I don't even follow these celebrities like that. And I didn't even watch the Grammy show, but because I've already seen like pictures of it, and I'm already seeing the satanic of it all, from the colors to the wardrobe and everything else. Yes, there is a such thing as self-expression with art, but there is self-expression with in the lighter spectrum, inspirational, and then there is creative expression in the dark, satanic spectrum. Okay, that brings the energy down. All right. So with that being said, now segueing to that podcast, I don't know if that podcast was already preset to be released on that day, because the Grammys was happening or whatever the case may be. But it would have been nice if there were it would have been nice if, because there were good gems that was dropped in the interview, and like other YouTubers were this breaking down the video and the interview. It would have been nice if that segment was taken out, because now it created a whole nother controversy, and it just heightened up the situation even more. There was already a squabble between Offset and Quavo in at the Grammys, and now that this podcast enter in the scene in the group chat, and Offset is being triggered even more, it's like, hey, why couldn't, if you said a conversation could have had by a phone call, why didn't y'all just call him up while y'all were there? Okay. And I'm pretty sure, and it seems like the hosts, or one of them per se, were, out of their comfort zone a little bit. It seems like to me, they should have had the podcast in a mutual ground, right? Instead of having it on another person's territory per se, because it's like having, even though the people that are allowing the Prince family to have their platform because they have a lot of subscribers, right? And it seems like they had to meet the middle ground, like, hey, since you're going to be on my podcast with all of our subscribers that are listening, how about you just meet in our city and we'll show you what it's all about and what you know what I'm saying? So it seems like it was a mutual agreement to have them on this podcast, but in the Prince family's territory. Okay. Um, so I thought that was interesting because it seems like one was a little bit more uneasy than the other one because of the circumstances that happened and because of the topics and the subjects that was being discussed in that interview. So like some other YouTubers mentioned, it would have been nice if they either cut that part out until everything had blew over. I understand they was trying to clear their name and all that, but at the same time, if you're saying there, you could have did a phone call, you could have called me up, and we could have handled this behind closed doors or whatever the case may be. I'm like, why didn't y'all just call them right then, right now? I mean, y'all said y'all got the connections, and y'all are some frugal people, right? So use those frugal resources to get in contact of the other parties, peoples, so y'all can have the conversation off camera or on camera, whichever way it goes. I mean, that's just simple as that. But you can't just you got to practice what you preach. Okay, at the end of the day, you got to practice what you preach, whether you're young or old, rich or poor. It's all about having the emotional intelligence to be able to, if you have a disagreement with someone, the least you could do is call, FaceTime, email, send a letter, voice note, whatever the case may be, to get that or meet face to face and get that problem solved with a quickness, because literally there's no excuse in this day and age of reaching out to someone when you have a disagreement about it in your own terms, or whenever the terms feels right between you and the other party, to come together and dissolve the disagreement and the dysfunction of it all. That's just bottom line. All right. Now, to add to, and I'm gonna close out on that portion as well. All right. Now, the heads up, because I'm as I did these calculations in my head and seeing some sequence of events, big events that are happening. I just gotta share this with you all. So I'm gonna share my screen again because this is more like ring the alarm type of thing. All right. So this is what I came up with because I study numerology and the chakras and all the esoteric things of it all, because it's the time is now to get back to the basics this year, and it's all about getting in tune with yourself and your faith, whichever faith that you are practicing at this moment, whether it's a religion or a spirituality or a diaspora or a mixture of all of them, or one over all of them. But at the end of the day, we are all, we all bleed the same. All right. So I call this the time is now, because I feel like some things are about to happen. And I've already said ahead of time that people's relationships was going to be at stake, whether it's well, not at stake, but they're going to be tested within this year, because and it could be on a personal, it could be on a business, it could be on a romantic love marriage, whichever relationship you feel close to or you're just at odds with. I just have to say this and get this out there um before it all unfolds, because I just feel it. I just feel it. All right. So the first thing I want to point out is the Grammys. So the Grammys was on the 5th, right? It was on the 5th, and I broke it down, the numerology factor, and I got 77. We are in the year of 7. The crown chakra, we are in the year of the crown chakra that deals with divine connection, being oneness with all. Okay, break that down. 7 plus 7 equals 14. All right, and then 1 plus 4 equals 5. All right, so we got 2 5s up in the mix already. The date that the Grammys happened on, and then we also had the 5 here as a total of the days. So the Grammys was on the day of 5, which is sudden changes, whether they're big or small. Also on that day, it was a full moon in Leo. Full moon is all about things coming out into fruition. All right, whatever intentions that you put in the previous new moon or other previous new moons that you're working towards your goal, now it is the Grammys. Ironically, it was on the full moon in Leo where you're reaping the rewards that you have sown in before. All right, whether they're good or bad. Leo, it was in the sign of Leo. Leo is associated with the 5th house. Okay, Leos are associated with the 5th house that deals with creativity, the drama, the actor field, right? Leos are associated with the sun, the celestial body of the sun, where it gives life to everything on earth, right? It provides us the positive energy, the vitality, the life, as well as it is a leadership. Leos associated with the lions that bring strength, courage, right? Boldness of it all. Okay, and it is a fixed sign. So we were in a fixed sign during the new moon. Fixed energy is dealing with, resistance to change, but stable at the same time. You're stable, but you could be stubborn at times whenever radical changes, sudden changes arises. So, and the Leo is associated with the sacral chakra. All right. Sacral chakra is dealing with your feelings and emotions. And ironically, the Grammys is dealing with music. Music therapy is associated with the vibrations, the frequencies you have within your body, because we are mostly watered, about 70% filled with water, right? And water deals with emotions and feelings. Okay. Also, so with the music being granted the award for all the accolades, the achievements that it has transpired before the award has been received. At the same time, your feelings and emotions are going to get pulled because of the vibrations and the frequencies that are being presented to us as the performers are performing, right? Also, the Last Supper performance God did, as well as satanic performances that was happening during that time, during the Grammys, because of the full moon, and there are full moon rituals as well. But with the Last Supper performance that happened towards the end of the show with Jay-Z and Rick Ross, DJ Khaled, John Legend, Lil Wayne, and more, I found that quite suspicious. Of course, it was aesthetically pleasing with the table full of food, a table full of bosses that have reaped the rewards, right? And they're feasting on the accolades that they received. All right. Are you getting me? I hope you are following me. All right. So put a stamp on that. Following through what happened at the Grammys, we had that altercation with Quavo and Offset, right? In the midst of trying to show, pay tribute to the fallen, which was Takeoff. All right. So, and also the podcast coming out around that time as well, with the $1 million worth of game, with the Prince family on there. All right. All that, all those changings happening within Sunday and Monday, right? Hold that right there. Pinpoint, mirror, all right? Following through with that, 7 days later, we are going to have the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is on the 12th, right? And we gonna add that mug up. We got 7. It came out to the number 12. That's crazy that we have 12 up in this mix. That brings it down to the number 3. Okay. All right. It brings down to the number 3. That brings positive energy. It brings growth. It brings optimism and creativity as well. So you're going to see a lot of people being very optimistic about their teams playing in the Super Bowl. But at the same time, there is going to be some Super Bowl performances as well during the halftime by Rihanna, and probably with some other guests, right? Other special guests, if it's not her alone. So be on the lookout for the synchronicities within that event as well. All right. Because after the Super Bowl is the last quarter moon in Scorpio. That is happening on the 13th. All right. So that'll be that following Monday. There is going to be a last quarter moon in Scorpio. Last quarter moon is all about cleansing and detoxing, getting rid of. And Scorpio is dealing with the afterlife. Is dealing with the depth, the intensity of it all. Scorpios are intense, but don't let the stinger fool you. All right, don't let the stinger fool you. And the date that is on 2/13/2023, it equals out to the number 4. So we're going to be dealing with stabilizing authoritative energy that day, right? However, the sacral chakra is associated with the Scorpio. So it's dealing with your feelings and emotions again. So it'll be a good time to detox and cleanse so you can stabilize your feelings and emotions. That leads up to the new moon, which is in Pisces, that is happening on the 20th of this month, right? And with the numbers adding up to the number 11, that is a master number. All right. The duality effect, the good and the bad, embracing it all. Okay, embracing it all. Pisces is associated with the crown chakra, the divine connection. All right, and also with Pisces being connected with the crown chakra, it is a great time to go ahead. It is a great time to, put your intentions on what you would like to discover, what you would like to study more or continue to build on to when it comes to relationship between you and yourself as well as source. Okay, because we are in the year of 7. Again, following through with the first quarter moon that is on the 27th. So that's 7 days later. I'm telling you, that is 7 days apart. But after the Super Bowl, okay, because we already get in the 7 sequence already. 7 days after the Grammys, it is the Super Bowl. The Last Supper performance was in the Jay-Z performance at the Grammy. Okay, so pay attention of what's what events are happening after the Super Bowl, before, during, and after the Super Bowl, okay? Because the Super Bowl is leading up to the last quarter moon where we getting rid of something, all right? Somebody's going to get rid of something. You keep a close eye on that, all right? I hope y'all follow me on this. Okay, and then 7 days later, after the last quarter moon, is the new moon in Pisces, okay? It is a new moon in Pisces. Dealing with setting your intentions. Again, new moon is all about planting those seeds, all right? And then again, the first quarter moon, 7 days after the new moon, we're going to have the first quarter moon in Gemini. Gemini is associated with communication, intellect, all right? The mental and the intellect. It is also dealing with the throat chakra as well. So we need to mentally get our mind right so we can be able to vocalize what we want to bring into reality. Because whatever you think, whether you are subconsciously thinking it or intentionally thinking it, it can come into fruition. All right. So be careful what you think as the first quarter moon comes after 7 days after the new moon. Okay. Because that number ends with the date equals out to the number 9, which brings a completion. So something's going to come into a completion around that time as you are deciphering what is going on, the challenges, the obstacles that you're going through around that time, that you need to vocalize and getting out and closing that chapter so you can continue on. All right. And then following through, like I said, the spring equinox is happening on 3/20/2023, March 20th, 2023. That equals out to the number 12. And reducing that number 12 is the number 3, okay? Number 3 again reverts all the way back to the Super Bowl. It reverts all the way back to the Super Bowl, which like I said, the number 3 energy brings positive energy. It brings creative energy. It also brings collaboration as well. So again, pay attention what happens between the Super Bowl and the spring equinox that happens on the 20th of March, because the spring equinox brings a start of a new seasonal year, the actual new year, right? And we will be in Aries season around that time, okay? We'll be close to, if not in Aries season around that time, because Aries is the start of the zodiac, the start of the zodiacs, right? And what does this new start of the year brings? Rebirth, aka Renaissance, okay? Does Renaissance ring a bell to you? Okay? Does Renaissance ring a bell to you? Comment down below what Renaissance ring a bell. Who do you think of when you see the word Renaissance? Comment down below of what of who you think I'm talking about when the word Renaissance comes to you at the start of the seasonal year, which is a rebirth. Things coming out, okay? Things are being born again. After what? The Last Supper at the Grammys, okay? So again, y'all, I know this sounds crazy, but the way I broke that down, I hope you all will follow me on that, because it is important, okay? I need y'all to wake up, all right? I need y'all to wake up, because the way I broke this stuff down and what had happened at the Grammys was just the start of it. It was just the start of it. But again, I want y'all to pay attention just as much as I'm paying attention in the clouds. I want y'all to pay attention as well of the events that are happening between Sunday, the Grammys, and the spring equinox, which will be on the Monday of March the 20th, okay? So That is my little warning sign to you all. If you made it to the end of the video, please comment a sunflower in the comment section below, because that lets me know that you have survived through the breakdown of what energies are happening around between now and the spring equinox. All right. And also be sure to comment down below your thoughts and opinions about what has transpired so far between the Migos with Offset and Quavo getting into it, and Cardi B stepping in, trying to mediate, litigate the situation. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions of the $1 Million Worth of Games podcast, what you thought about it, as well as comment down below what you thought about the performances at the Grammys. Do you think your emotions were affected during that time? Did you feel something within those performances? Did it trigger you to cry or whatever the case may be? Let me know in the comment section. I want to know. I want to hear your thoughts. All right. But other than that, I'm going to cut it here and leave it to it. Don't forget to always remember to love thyself, know thyself, soothe thyself. You can heal thyself. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you know the next time I upload a video. And I'll see you guys in the next one.